Hello, guys, and welcome back for another episode. Now,
Hello.
it may seem a bit weird that we're not in our usual environment. That is because of a certain situation that we're not going to talk about too much because,
Yeah.
to be frank, it's quite boring. So, obviously, it's now allowed us to obviously stay at home, which is a good and a bad thing. The bad thing is that you can't go anywhere. The good thing is that we can get more guests on, which is quite weird because generally nowadays pretty much everyone's got so much time on their hands, they're always free, so it's quite
And
a good
also, it
opportunity.
means I haven't had to travel all the way up to Essex, so
Yes,
that's a win for me.
yes, that is indeed a good thing. But without going on for too much longer, let's introduce our guests. So following on from last episode, we have another female, and this female's an interesting female, as all our guests are. Not gonna talk too much about her. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. So let's bring her into today's episode. So, ooh, and there she is.
Hurrah!
Hey,
Welcome, Skulls and Snaps. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good. It's actually
Good.
good to have you on because we've been trying to get you on for months and months and months.
Oh, I know. It's just been so hectic, and obviously doing a proper 9 to 5 now. You get to Friday and just, oh my god, and the weekend just vanishes.
So, for the guys that are watching, if you would like to introduce yourself a little bit more, just tell us about what you do.
Oh god, this is always the bit I hate doing. Talk about yourself. So Joe and I run Skulls and Snaps, which is essentially me on YouTube chatting shit about cars or taking pretty pictures on Instagram and Facebook and having them used in magazines and by manufacturers and stuff on the odd occasion that there's actually a good picture.
Yeah, and I know you personally. I've known you for years and years and years now.
Long time.
So for me, it's going to be, I've got questions, but it's going to be hard for me to give you questions that I've not had answers to before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of feature it in for people that don't know who you are. So at least it's then makes sense, really. So my first question is going to be, how did you get into being a photographer?
So it's a really sort of long-winded thing that I try and condense to not be completely boring, but I've always been into cars and loved cars, and at the time I was looking after my late dad as his carer, and the doctor said to me, you need to take some time out occasionally for yourself, and I was like, doing what? I don't know what to do. And well, what do you enjoy? And I was like, well, photography and my cars. And they went, okay, is there any way you can combine those? And I was like, actually, yeah, it's quite simple, just look up a car meet, grab my camera, go. So
Yeah.
my doctor was like, okay, go do that. Like, find a day during the week or on a weekend, you can go do that, take some time for yourself. And I ended up going to these chavvy little car park meets that were absolutely amazing because there was no ego, and it was all these amazing mods and builds and
Usually
cars that
outside
people
Halford,
love. Yeah.
yeah.
And I showed up, just started taking pictures, and everyone's like, you're taking pictures of my car? And I'm like, yeah, like, this is great. There was a little Corsa B, and it was on air ride, which was probably worth more than the car.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. And on the roof wasn't your standard like bike roof rack. It was half a shopping trolley. And they'd filled it with the plastic balls you find at like a ball pit for the kids' play area. And
Yeah.
I was just like, this is sick. Like, this is so cool. And then out of nowhere, I had this great roaring V10, and I'm like, are they lost? Like, what is going on? And just in a like car park, it's Chelmsford, this white Audi R8 V10 rocks up, and I was just like, oh my god, now that's not standard. And I'm stood there, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till he's parked and take my pictures. I just went, V10, sick choice. And this guy goes, you didn't read the engine bay though, did you? And I'm like, no. He goes, then how did you know it's a V10? And I'm like, your exhausts, you haven't got two either side. You've got the big old ovals, so it's your V10. And he went, wait there. And he grabbed all his mates, went, tell me what you just said. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, damn, are you now going to take pictures? And I was like, yeah. They went, what's your Facebook? I need it. And the next thing, I'd taken pictures of like their GT86s. They brought the R8 V10. And there was a few other little bits and pieces. They brought like some 3 Series. There was a whole group of them that rolled in. And it was basically this little group that kicked it all off because they started sharing these pictures.
Yeah.
And then their friends found me on social media, and they went from there, and it went from there. And then I became good friends with this guy with the R8, and we started going to the Gumball meets together back when Gumball did Gumball get-togethers before people were idiots and got it stopped. And from there, like, Gumball shared my pictures, and, you know, the followers started to gain, and people started to know who I was. And I just found it really weird because I was like, I'm just the loud girl that goes and knows about cars and loves them and takes pictures that, to be honest, looking back, were really crap compared to what I can do now. But people loved it. And from there, it just sort of gained a bit more traction and started talking to more and more people, and then got more offers to do more cool stuff. And it just sort of went from there, and did some pretty cool shoots over the years after that.
So you self-taught. You never.
It was all watching YouTube videos and just basically going, right, here's my camera. I want to know what I'm doing. Watched videos on how it all worked in like full manual mode, and learnt what aperture was and shutter speed and all about different lenses, and then just sort of took it to car shows and just played around with it. And
yeah, it's awesome.
Voila.
It shows you don't have to go to a college or a university to learn how to use a camera.
Not at all.
Especially with photography being so populated nowadays.
Yeah.
Everyone can do it, and for that reason, it shows you that if anyone can do it, you can simply pick up a camera and learn how to do it. So. And
this is the thing. I think when you take away a lot of the ego within all this, like you say, it is very heavy populated, and I'm always willing to answer questions. So if like some of the newbies that go out to Sloane Street and take all the pictures like I used to do, go, oh, what lenses do you use? And, you know, it doesn't hurt to tell them. Or they go, oh, I'm trying to do like this pan-in shot, but everything's not in focus. Like, what's the best way to do it? Literally takes 2 minutes to explain to someone.
Yeah, it's not like it's a secret. They're going to find out at some point.
Exactly, they're going to learn anyway. So you may as well be a good person and help them out, because it helps you, it helps them, and what's the problem?
Because I've obviously been around car spotting with you and some other people, and I found it to take photos and get noticed, you had to be right, very secretive, and you had to be the first one there to shoot the car. If you were the second or third person, you're irrelevant pretty much. There's no relevance to that photo, even though you've taken it the same. The car's exactly the same. It's quite weird. I couldn't get my head around it. That's why I never really got into it.
It was kind of like one of those things that killed a bit of time for me, especially back when like I lived in London. I was 5 minutes away, so it'd be, oh, I'm bored, let's just go take a night drive and see what we find.
Crazy taxi over here, 5 minutes from where we won't go into that.
No. It was fine. It was all above board, except for the times I might have been asked if I was going a bit too quick.
You're luckily you never experienced that, Aaron. It was an absolute carnage.
Shut up. It was fine.
I was doing that. Oh.
Did you die? Actually, I do have a great little tale to tell of this whilst we're here. So there was what should we call, an old friend of yours, should we say? Decided to bring a Porsche Panamera into central London. Then decided to try and, should we say, challenge me in a Top Gear-esque style. Take him a route from Mayfair to Knightsbridge.
Aaron should probably know who we're talking about. We won't name names.
I think I do, yeah.
I was in my little 1.6 TDI Golf, just absolutely killing it, and beat a Porsche Panamera. So I was like, who were you? What took you so long?
Oh, God. Yeah. So with photography, obviously over the years you had opportunities, so many opportunities and experiences. I know a
Insane.
few. Let's start with Koenigsegg.
Oh my god, literally the pinnacle of just, I don't really think there's anything that's topped it. There's a couple that have come close and in their own rights are very special, but that was just something else. So obviously Shmi 150 was heading over to Sweden.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, so this kind of works in a couple ways. And I was like, right, what? Goes, well, it's your birthday, isn't it, at the beginning of January? I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, so consider this part birthday present, part I need some help. I was like, what is it? I was, well, I've booked for you to come to Sweden with me. And I was like, sorry? What? Goes, well, I'm going to Koenigsegg. They're going to show me the Regera and we're going to do a video. And I was like, this isn't even out yet. Like, what? Goes, yeah, it's going to be the first video of it shown driving out and about.
Yeah.
But I want you to do some behind the scenes pictures because we're doing like a factory tour. And I was just like, hell yeah, count me in. So I went and we did these amazing pictures. It was like ice cold January and they'd had so much snow that it was kind of like, are we even going to be able to take the Regera out? And bearing in mind that this is at the same time they were creating the full carbon body that they were then going to crash test to get its safety ratings and everything.
Yeah.
But they'd had to dismantle the original blue one, take it all apart to match identical to the carbon one. And 24 hours before we got there, it was all in parts.
Wow.
So they'd had to reassemble the blue one in 24 hours. And I think there was a slight panic that it wasn't going to be ready. So we'd sort of got there like, oh, we were so excited to see it. And they're like,
yeah.
Thankfully, it was all done. But obviously, with this snow and it had only just been reassembled, there was no driver aids. So there was no ABS, no traction.
Makes it a bit interesting, for sure.
Oh my God. It was just like, are you
Death
sure
trap with it. It's the death trap with aids on it, isn't it?
But there was absolutely nothing. There was nothing on it. But Christian's like, I'm taking it out. We're here to show you it. I'm taking it out. And we're just like, oh my God. So yeah, did the factory tour, saw the last of the Agera RSs being put together. Then went and shot the Regera, and yeah, I got to go out in it with Christian driving it, and you know Tim was there doing his stuff, so I was taking the pictures of him in it and going around it, and these pictures just went mental. They were everywhere. And then the following year, I went to Geneva Motor Show, and Christian and his wife Haldora were like, "Oh my God, you're here! Thank God! Like we wanted to show you something." And I'm like, "What?" They've gone, look. And in the back, in the VIP section, were all my pictures put on canvases.
Oh,
and I was just like,
oh, wow.
What the hell? And they're like, these are for everyone who are putting deposits down on it from seeing it here, are loving these. And I'm like, no, this isn't real.
That must have felt so good.
It was ridiculous to like look on
because even by that time, it was still delayed. That was like a really heavily delayed car, wasn't it, when they were making it?
Very, very delayed. But I think the whole Koenigsegg direct drive thing, for as much as the idea of it was great, might have sort of been a bit too complex.
Yeah, because it's one gear, isn't it? Yeah,
it's one gear. So yeah, I don't know. I've still only ever seen one on the road.
Yeah, I've not seen any. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an insane experience, and Koenigsegg were kind enough to send me through like 5 copies of their magazine, which was just like all my pictures in it.
Yeah.
And sent a few extra little goodies, which was really cute. And I got Christian to sign it at the motor show. He went, "Why are you asking me to sign it? These are your pictures. I should be getting you to sign it." And I'm like, yours signing it will be worth something for me. So, but, yeah, I've still got a whole stash of those, and they're one of my proudest things. So
yeah, no, honestly, that's a wicked experience. Like, even when I saw pictures when you did go, yeah, it's absolutely mega. And obviously, speaking of Shmee,
Yes.
you've known him for obviously a good few years, and you've actually taken countless photos for him as well.
So many. Yeah, it's all since the Gumball meets. That's when I first met him, back when he had his, wasn't 12C, it was his R8.
Yeah, God, that
So,
long ago. So that was like when he
that long ago.
first supercar, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very long time, probably about 6 years now, nearly.
Yeah. And what's in like knowing him like personally, like what's he like on and off camera?
Exactly the same. So obviously when you're at these events, as you know, you see a lot of the YouTubers walking around.
Yeah.
There are a lot with a lot of egos. He's not one of them. He will always say hello, he will always take a picture, he will always answer questions, and he's just the same on camera as off camera. And he's genuinely passionate and knowledgeable about it, and loves to know the facts and the figures. It's not just a quick, oh, I'm going to read this before I go on my vlog and tell you what it says. He will sit and research and find out and question and make sure he knows it, which is, I think, why he's got such a good channel, because it's not clickbait, it's genuine interest. So yeah, it's just, he's very same on camera, same off camera.
Yeah. And like for you, we had Automotive on last episode.
I love her, she's so cool.
Yeah, it was a wicked episode. Again, it was someone that Aaron didn't really know, and
No.
I just told him, like, just gave her her social media, had a look, and he was like,
yeah,
bloody hell, is that her job? Does that even exist? I didn't even know anything about that. And so yeah, when we had her on, she's so knowledgeable. She's such a clever girl. You can obviously watch that yourselves. I'll leave it in the top right hand corner, along with all the other episodes. But yeah, we asked her a question about her being a female, of course, and working in such a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Likewise for you, the same question in terms of being a female photographer in, again, a male-dominated industry. What's it like? Do you get brushed to the side? Do you get treated differently?
So this is something I've always spoken out about. There's a lot of people say, you know, oh, it's not common to see a girl doing this, or not common for a girl to know so much or to be so into it. And you sort of get a bit shocked by it, because you think, we're in 2020 now, like, come on, like, really? Is it still shocking for a girl to be into cars properly? Like, really? In the beginning, I was always the only girl walking around Knightsbridge with a camera. There was never any other female that I could see. No one had ever seen another female doing this. And they were all a bit like, why are you here? And I'm just sort of like, because the cars are cool. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And just sort of started talking to people, and they were like, oh, okay, it's not that bad having a girl here. She can have conversations about it, all the rest of it. And it wasn't really a thing. It would only become a thing if I'd been approached to do like a private shoot, whether it was paid or unpaid. It would be, she's only been given that opportunity because she's a girl. And you're sort of like, is it though? Like, really? Is it? And you would sort of get a bit funny about it. Like, is there really a need for that? But then the other issue with it is you get the girls who then come out of nowhere, and you try and have this conversation about this thing you're so passionate about and knowledgeable about, and they're just looking at you like, what did you just say to me?
Yeah.
And you're just sort of like, I thought you did this stuff about cars because you knew about it and liked it. And then you sort of, oh, okay, you're not here for the passion and the knowledge and the love of it, you're here for the attention from it. And that's just alien to me, because I'm like, I couldn't go into an industry purely for the attention on something that I didn't actually care about or like or know about.
Yeah, ultimately, it's if you're going to get into something, you've got an actual passion and interest into it. Not
exactly. And that's where my issue lies with this. But people like Automotive I have so much admiration for what she does, and the fact that she's been to uni, studied this, works her ass off for it, and genuinely loves what she does.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, go on, girl, kill it. You're so made for this. And that's what I love, is finding those other females who actually have the passion, the knowledge, the intelligence, and the love of it. It's just like, this is what I like. But yeah, you do get the odd sarky comment about, would you know you're a girl?
Yeah.
Or, you know, like you'll be at an event and someone will say something and you're like, actually, can I just correct you on this? And they look at you like,
Yeah,
what?
and that's a, like Automotive. That's the way she takes that approach. She doesn't let it demean her. She
No.
moves on with it, and it makes her stronger in that sense.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, no, it's wicked, and obviously, it's good to see a lot more females getting involved with not just
It's great.
this industry, but in cars, it's in everything really. And yeah, it just shows that time's moved on. Get over it. Women can do what men do. It's not
Exactly. And it's nice when I get like the odd direct message from like a young female that's going, oh, because I saw your Instagram and you used to go around Knightsbridge and do this, I now go do it and I don't feel weird about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go do it. If you like it, go do it. And it's really nice to see that. Like, I've even had a page in India that's purely girls who are into cars, and they're like, people like you have made it okay for us to show that we like this.
Yeah.
But we can have pages that show we like cars and we're into cars, and it's not weird. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love this. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So
no, it's wicked, and it shows for you that it's working, and you're making something, you're putting a positive impact on something, which is awesome.
yes.
Which is the question I have now, is why have you kind of died down on social media and not doing as much?
I guess after I lost my dad was a big thing that put like a massive break to it, because he was always the one that was like, go to this event, go to that event, go do this, go do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd take these pictures and I'd show him and he'd be so proud and he'd love it. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, these are getting so much better, these are great. And then when I didn't have that, it was sort of like my sort of spark for it had gone.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, why am I even bothering with this now? It's not the same. But I guess it's also the fact having a 9 to 5 now, whereas when I was looking after him, the time was sort of there a bit easier to go to like track days. He'd be like, yeah, if you're going to go for a couple hours, go.
Yeah.
So I was sort of a bit more free to go do all that. Whereas, now it's like, no, I'm being a proper adult and working properly. So
you know how us two feel then.
yeah, now. So I guess it's just, I had to, obviously dealing with the ME and fibromyalgia side of life as well. It gets a bit much sometimes when you've worked Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And then to go out on a weekend takes so much energy, and you're thinking, I can't overdo it because I've got to go to work on Monday. So you've got to sort of work out the balances of what's worth your energy, what's worth your time. And it's sort of trying to get back into that routine of life. And, you know, just as I was like, okay, cool, I've been at work for a year now. Like, I know my limits. Cool, let's get car season underway. And then it's like, oh, coronavirus.
Yeah, it's
and then to that one.
Yeah.
So, it's just sort of going to have to get back into a routine again and then be able to tackle all the car stuff on top. But, I had wanted to put more time and effort into it because I do miss it. Like, I do miss going to stuff and taking pictures and interacting in that stuff because it's what I love.
Yeah.
But, it was just sort of the time, the effort, the energy. It was all a bit, do I really want to do it anymore? But it's there and it always niggles at you. You know, if you go, oh, I'm not going to go to that event, and then you sit and you see everyone else go to it and you're like, should have gone.
Life takes priorities, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Some have better circumstances than others. So, but it's how you use your time and what you can produce and what you can do.
Yeah.
And of course, a 9 to 5 job for like the most of us, we've got to pay the bills, haven't we? So.
Exactly. And running around with a camera at events tends to see more money go out than come in. So.
That's why I'm still gobsmacked how Aaron he does all this stuff. It's mental. How he can do a job and do YouTube and do it day
I
in,
know,
day out.
it's like a superpower. It's just
Yeah.
If
Although
if I could choose a superpower, I don't think I'd choose that specifically. But yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, you've
Something,
obviously found, and you've obviously found your limits now, and obviously dying that down a bit because as much as doing YouTube with cars and stuff is a passion, it's not life at the end of the day, is it? It's
No, it's not. I work around 50 hours a week, so
Oof.
yeah.
And then you do the YouTube stuff on top.
I do, yeah. So it got to a point where I had to slow things down a bit because I was constantly forever at the limit of burnout. So I've had to strip things back a little bit and just kind of admit to myself that I can't keep up this pace for. It basically wasn't sustainable. I think that's the best way of putting it. It wasn't sustainable.
Yeah, because I mean, you had press cars every week, didn't you? It was like every week you had a different car, so you were videoing. You could only really video during the weekend, so you had no weekend, and it's crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like when you're at that pace and you're doing it so much, you don't actually know it until you actually realise, and then it's too late, and then you can still make the change, but you just gone on too long with it. But no, it's I can't really talk on that because I don't do any content at all.
I get offers to do it, and then I'm like, I've got to try and convince work to let me go early so I can go into central London and pick up a car. Then I've got to make up the time where I left early.
Yeah, and it's difficult.
But it's like I might just have to sort of go, do you know what? If I want to do this occasionally, screw it. I'll do it occasionally because it's not going to be every week. But
and you also got the fan base now where they obviously know that you're not as productive now, or not as active as I should say. Obviously, they'll still appreciate you doing stuff, whether it's a month or every week or whatever. So, it is what it is. If people don't like it, they just got to accept it, haven't they? So.
Yeah, losing. I haven't looked at the numbers, but since when I had to really cut back on what I was doing because Dad got really ill.
Yeah.
Now I think it's dropped somewhere around 8,000 followers, which isn't too bad. But it was once everything sort of really halted. It just sort of, you watch the numbers just, oh no, I really should get something done, and then you just think, don't really care about the numbers.
And did you ever consider numbers as a thing? Was you obsessed with it?
In the beginning,
yes.
In the beginning, it was very much like, damn, I want the followers, I want the numbers. And I was watching all these guys that I was going out around Knightsbridge with, and their numbers were going up and up and up. And I'm like, what have I done wrong? Like, why is this not happening for me?
Yeah.
And obviously then all the Koenigsegg stuff came out, and then all the stuff with Oakley Design came out, and the numbers went through the roof because all the shares were happening and people were seeing it in magazines, and it was on TV around parts of Europe and the Middle East and America, and I was like, oh my God, like, what? So the followers went through the roof, and then as all the really cool stuff sort of stopped, it dropped. But I love the stories of how I bought my followers. I'm just like, at the time I was a carer for my dad, I spent my little money on buying followers.
Yeah. No, honestly, I don't get people that do that, but whatever floats their boat.
Exactly.
Considering like people that are buying followers probably don't earn any ad revenue or anything at all, so they're just pumping more money into something that isn't actually making any money whatsoever. So, unfortunately, people do that, and some people get away with it and do well.
Social media is life.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's weird. Like, I mean, now we're sitting at home. Obviously, we're relying on it a bit more because it's probably the only thing that's keeping all of us sane at the minute. But it's not something that we should all depend on. But it's got to the point now where it's too late, isn't it?
Probably, unfortunately.
But on to something more positive, your car history.
Ugh.
You can't be that positive, mate.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it was your reaction. I started that comment was based from your reaction.
Yeah.
There's like one I'm insanely in love with, one I'm like, oh, I miss it, and one I'm like, biggest mistake of my life.
What, you miss your golf? Wow.
God, I hated that thing.
Maybe a Panamera can't be that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With a dodgy gearbox, it beat a Panamera. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And a humongous crater in the side of the door. It looked like you put someone's head through it.
Right, I'm going to explain this now you've brought this up. There was one night I was with a friend who completely saw this as well. So it's not even a lie because there was a witness to it. It was actually CCTV to it as well, which was hilarious.
I demand copies of that immediately. Chris,
I don't have it. It got sent to the insurance company and it got sent to Volkswagen and I never got it.
Yeah.
I was like, but it...
Is that Volkswagen?
They hate me because of this car. They absolutely hate me. And probably because I then went on Seeing Through Glasses video and absolutely slated Volkswagen. But I was in Asda's one night and I came out absolutely tipping it down, gone to unlock my car, and I've turned to my friend and gone, just me, or is my car rolling? She went, I thought I was seeing things. I'm like, no. Gone sprinting over to it, opened the door, the electric handbrake had failed, and it had gone smacking into one of the posts in the car park. And I was just like, I wasn't even in the car. What? Yeah. And I'd taken it into Volkswagen. It had been in 3 times for this electric handbrake.
That's why I don't trust them.
I hate them. There was the worst
mechanical one.
Yeah.
All day, proper handbrake. E-handbrake, no. But the worst was I was at Supercar Siege at Brands Hatch, and there was 2 tiers of car parking. Down here, beautiful F40. Up here, my Golf. And I'm like, I really can't park here. And they're like, well, you need to park here. I went, I can't park here. And they went, why? I was like, I have an e-handbrake that has a tendency to fail. Like, unless you want to see it roll into that F40, I suggest you move me. They're like, oh, go over the back.
Was it a manual Golf?
Yeah.
I suppose you could have left it in gear.
Even then, it was like...
Yeah.
To be fair, if that was me, I'd still be like, yeah, there's an F40 over there. I wouldn't like to see my Golf go ploughing into it.
No.
It could have been a trending topic if it did happen.
Either.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to have been that trending topic, so...
Would have got views, to be fair. Swings and roundabouts. You'd be like, yeah, that's my Golf, yeah. Yep. Take a selfie next to it.
Viral for a car accident. Not viral, no car accident. Take that option.
Yeah, live another day.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, one of my previous cars rolled into someone else's. It was only a Lexus, the hatchback one, the C200H or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I feel your pain because it happened to me. Although to be fair, it was my fault. I can't blame the car. But yeah.
And you can find that on YouTube here.
Yeah.
No. I think that was actually before the YouTube channel started. Albeit only by about 2 months, but yeah. Fun time. That's back in 2016. That's March. 5th of March, to be precise.
Wow.
What, does it still haunt you to this day? Is that why you still remember?
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, it's just whenever I do any car insurance quotes, I have to make sure I have that date remembered. So obviously it was within the last 5 years, so I have to make sure that it's kind of etched into my brain. It's burnt into my cranium, so to speak.
Odd.
Yeah. Question for you: have you ever been approached by someone who really wants you to photo or film their car, and it's an absolute shed, or it's been modified really distastefully? Now, by all means, I don't expect you to name the car or the owner, of course, but has it ever happened?
Yes, Yes, it has.
How did you deal with it? That must be so awkward.
So they're like.
Obviously, I know you have to be very careful about.
I'm
what
trying
you
to
say.
think how to do this diplomatically, just in
Yes.
case they ever find me.
Oh, don't worry. Only 2 people watch this anyway.
That's including us.
Yeah.
To be fair, Joe, you can just leave it at yes. You don't have to go any further. It's just a question that
That's not
came into my
entertaining,
head
though.
and thought.
It's a lot of yeah. I'll see if I can make it to come do it. Sorry, I was busy.
Oh,
hold on a minute. You do that to me all the time.
No.
Did it
Yeah.
happen to be like a tracked out Civic? It's blue.
No, because I've got a real soft spot for Civics, and that's my boyfriend's fault. So I would not be dodging shooting Civics.
Yeah.
Especially tracked out ones.
Yeah, you still haven't come to Snetterton or any track day.
I know.
I know. It's disappointing.
I'm sorry.
Go on, mate. Sorry.
Obviously now camera phones, smartphones, now phones have got much better cameras compared to quite a few years ago. And as such, more and more people are getting into car photography. Do you find it difficult that it's becoming more saturated? Do you think, these guys are just pretenders, they're just going to do it for a bit and then go away? What's your reaction to that? How do you adapt to kind of your interest becoming more saturated, more populated?
I think now that I'm not so much pursuing wanting that as a career, like at one point I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do. Set to it. I'm going to find a magazine to go work for, or I'll do freelance, and I'll do this. And then when you actually looked at it, it was like, your costs, if you come from money, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
You would otherwise have to find a job that then allowed for the flexibility and go in at the last minute to do a shoot here and a shoot there and this and that. Which
is got to be nigh on impossible.
Exactly. You cannot get that much flexibility for your constant income if you're not there. So it was like, okay, this dream of this being my job is going to have to be that. It's a dream. So it became one of these things that was, I really appreciate seeing more and more people get into it. And that's what I liked. It was like, do you know what? I don't care that you now see so many people walking around with cameras at shows. I really like that. I think it's cool. It gives them opportunities to go do what I really used to love doing in the beginning. I mean, I still do. I freak out still seeing most of the cars I see, even if I've seen them a million times. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And I think seeing the youngsters getting into this, I'm like, that's still me. Like, that's still me. So I get where they're coming from. And, smartphones are instantly there. Like, there's been numerous times where I would go for a drive and I'd be like, oh, I didn't pick up my camera. Oh, it's fine, I've got my phone. And I know that there are guys on Instagram who have these amazing opportunities to go all around the world and go see private collections and see these amazing cars. And they purely use an iPhone and a polarizer. And I just think, if you're killing it doing that,
better game.
Exactly. Like, if you haven't got to be forking out for all this equipment and the lenses and the filters and the editing software on your laptops and lugging a laptop and lugging a big DSLR body around with you, fair play. If you can do it with an iPhone and a polarizer, smashed it.
Yeah.
But
because how do you find the difference between having a DSLR compared to an iPhone that you've got?
I love my DSLR. Like, it's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, but there is just something so fun about using it. And
what do you use?
Nikon D610. So big full frame, so you get the wider pictures with the more detail, and it's just that sense of, you can take a quick snap on your phone, which is what we all tend to do now, and you whack it on a story going, here's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's great for that. It's instant, it's there, it lets people know what you're doing, but the results in comparison, once you put your SD card in your laptop and you whack open Lightroom and you give it a quick little enhance, and you're just like,
that's probably the way to sum up the difference, is that a picture on your phone, you're just taking it, and then 9 times out of 10, you're just going to slam it onto Instagram or wherever.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're taking a picture on a camera, you're going to put it into your laptop, you're going to play around with it, you're going to spend time with it, you're going to bond with that photo. So
exactly.
yeah, no, it's, it is a shame though, because nowadays phones are so good, it's actually taken away opportunities for people to earn money from it, because it's so
there is
saturated.
that. But there's also the whole thing with, like, I'm not against it, but it just kind of breaks my heart that you can go traipsing around London, traipsing around car shows, and you try and get that perfect angle with that perfect shot, and you get it, and you edit, and it looks great. But then you get someone who takes this picture and puts it through CGI, and then puts it in an environment it's never been in, and you just think,
Yeah.
that's not enhancing an image, that's complete manipulation of something that's never happened.
Yeah.
Granted, your artwork is cool, but for people to be fanning over it like, oh my god, that's epic, it's like, it never happened.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother thing. Like, I appreciate the artistry of photography, and I appreciate what CGI can do and stuff, but once people go OTT on appreciating that, and you just think, but that never happened, like, okay, that's insane skill, yes, but I like seeing a picture of something that actually happened, not something that someone's taken and smashed into a setting it's never been in. I'm a bit like, but that didn't happen. Like,
What are you saying? Like, you have to like master taking the photo as it is to have
yeah,
get a perfect photo.
Enhancing the photo as opposed to what Joe's saying, as opposed to changing it completely.
yeah,
It'd be like taking it. I think it's kind of like the difference between remastering a Beatles song and then completely remixing it. They're two very different things.
Yeah.
One's enhancement, one is just a travesty.
Yeah. Because it's like, you see all these amazing photographers, like people like Richard Pardon, who shoot for like Top Gear, and they shoot for Evo, and they do all like Bentley's racing stuff, and they're actually there leaning out the back of cars, taking pictures, risking their lives, getting these amazing shots. And I'm like, that's who I aspire to be. Like, his work is just insane.
If you're inspiring to hang out of boots, trust me, I've done it too many times.
Oh, I've done that. Like, it's great.
I was witness to that. And it was freezing when you did it. It was all the way up in bloody Scotland. There's snow everywhere.
Do you remember the time when I was doing it in the Beamer and the glass partition thing almost smashed my head? Yeah. I literally fully come down. Like, oh my god.
Oh no.
Yeah. He was almost beheaded by Becca's car.
Yeah. Back to your car. You now have a very cool car.
Oh.
You've upped the game. You've gone from a 1.6 diesel Golf, battered and bruised, to a BMW 140i. It's mad.
Yeah.
This is going to have all the haters going, oh, she's definitely doing something.
Do you know what? It was hilarious because, as you know, I'm a big fan of Dubai, and I love going over there. There's like one person in particular you'll be aware of who was just asking anyone and everyone, how she got that? Why she got that? What's she doing for that? And you're like, but yeah, it was like, those cars I'd had previously were there for me to get to hospital appointments. They were there for me to take my dad to hospital appointments.
Yeah.
And that's what they were, was just the little runarounds to do the essentials. And when I wasn't having to do that so much, obviously I was doing bits and pieces here and there to like get the money in, to make up for not looking after my dad and stuff. I basically saved up enough and was like, okay, it's not technically mine. I'm gonna PCP it. Don't care. Means I have something nice.
Do anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So
like 90-95% of people do that.
Yeah, but it's still got that stigma attached. Like,
it does.
Yeah,
strange.
It's like, come on, I'm paying it monthly. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay monthly and then you can pay it off quicker for me, then that's fine.
Yeah.
What's your problem? But yeah, I went in a friend's one and literally just went,
yeah,
I need this. So went and had a look. online straight away and was like, oh my God, the deals on them are horrendously cheap for what it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't even test drive it. I literally just went, yes, please. And they went, you
My
sure?
money. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, literally how it happened. And they went, you sure you don't just want to take one out? I was like,
No. Give me the car,
don't
give me the car, give me the car, give me the car.
don't have to convince me. I'm like, sure, if you're saying so, let's go.
Must be the easiest sale ever.
Oh, I already knew what I wanted.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's going to have the ZF box, no manual, don't want manual. I've just had manuals,
Yeah.
want the ZF box. And they were like, oh, okay, anything else? I went, I don't care about spec, just get me one as soon as. And they were like, you don't want to spec it? I went, no, just get me one. They were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they thought it was a bit crazy, but I was like, I literally just want it. I was like, I don't care how it looks, I just want it. And yeah, that took 6 weeks. Not even that, I don't think.
It's not
That's
too
why I
bad.
got-
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
same with the 3v5D. It was like 5 weeks and the car was
Yeah.
here.
Well, someone had ordered my one and then cancelled it. But that was actually the third spec that I was sent.
It's because of the
So-
brown leather. That's why. They had
Cognac. Cognac.
doo-doo brown seats.
No, leave it alone. It looks really nice.
Oh. At least if you scare the shit out of someone, you don't have to clean the seat.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Just smell it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the first one was white with red interior, and I was like, yeah, okay, fine, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that was a 5-door, and then I sort of went,
More doors, more wars.
I want a 3-door, and they were like, is that it? And I was like, yeah, I'm not picky otherwise. They were like, okay. So then this spec, I was a bit like, oh, damn, okay. It was Estoril blue, so I was
Oh,
like,
like
oh,
blue.
love it, yes.
Nice.
They went, it's been specced with red interior.
Ooh, Superman spec.
Oh.
Bingo! So I was like, okay, cool, I'll rock this out. Superman spec it,
Yeah.
fine.
You never told me
Attach
this.
a big red cape to it.
I was like, I'll just get some centre locks with the Superman logo. I'll rock it out.
I'm glad that you didn't get that car. I'm glad.
Do you know what? So was I. Once they called and said, oh, actually, you can't have that. I was like, oh, thank God.
Thank God for that.
They went, but we've got a confirmed spec for you. I was like, okay. They went, black 3-door, cognac brown leather interior. I was like, done. And then I at first was like, oh, cognac, really? But then I saw it and I was like, nah, I love this.
Yeah, I still have that opinion to this day. Really?
Good job you don't have to live with it then, hey?
Yeah, it's a good thing. That's
But-
why you don't. That's why you don't see me much anymore.
Oh,
Wait, from the
man.
interior.
Uh,
But no, I love it, and I've got obviously plans to put wheels on it again. I've had 2 sets of wheels. One went on, one didn't go on. But I want to go for like a goldy bronzy theme because it will tie in nicely with the black
Yeah, it'll
exterior
look good.
and the cognac
Yeah.
interior. So
yeah, no, that's cool.
Mm.
And I assume what drew you to the car is the engine because the engine's mega.
Oh god, yeah. Well, I'd obviously read about it, loved it, but I'd never been in one, and it was the fact I'd been in one and I heard it and I was just experiencing it, and I was like,
It
oh,
does make a good sound, and the sound is not one you really get in a hatchback. There's not many
no, not at
6-cylinder
all.
hot hatches, so it's rare in
Yeah,
that respect.
Exactly. But obviously, as I then got one, I was like, yes, I've always been a bit of a fangirl for them, but then became even more so. And then obviously once Toyota announced what they were doing,
Yeah.
it faced its backlash and critique, and it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me stop you right there. And obviously with my boyfriend working for Toyota, he'd got a lot of the press stuff through work, and you know, this was explaining that they changed like 60% of the B58, and you're like, 60% is over half.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work on it.
Just
It's
the
not like
BMW.
taking it from BMW and just slapped it in the car. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the argument for that was, okay, well, if you think it's just the BMW, watch the video of a stock one versus a stock Z4 M40i.
Yeah.
If it's just the same, because I'm telling you, it's not.
There's even a madman on YouTube that's like literally stripped the engine like down, like nut
Yeah.
and bolt. I was like, what? Mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Papadakis Racing's just
That's
taken it
it.
apart and made 1,000 brake. Absolutely insane. It's an animal. But this engine is such a good partnership with Toyota and BMW.
Yeah.
And that's what people failed to understand was the Toyota side of it. They were like, oh, it's just the BMW. It's like, actually, if you start going through history of engines, it's very much like what you used to see in like a Celica GT4.
Yeah.
With it, you know, twin scroll turbo and it's charge cool.
And if they didn't get involved with BMW or any other manufacturer, the Supra would have never happened. So.
No, exactly. It would have never happened because the people don't understand the R&D in an engine isn't cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just go, oh, we'll whack together a new 2J, you know, that's fine. No.
Yeah. And it could have been worse. They could have picked a dog poo engine.
Exactly.
Happens to be the B58 they're using, which is
B58 just isn't. And I mean, even, you know, you've got the S58, which the new M3 and stuff's going to have, and B58 enough is like, okay, that can take some stick, but that's just going to kill it.
Yeah. A shame that they're like 55 grand plus, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit sucky, but...
And then that's where you then go back to a BMW, which is cheaper. You can get a 240i. Yes, okay, it doesn't look anything like a Supra, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I was going to say, the performance is there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, granted, it doesn't look the same and feel the same and handle the same, but...
Exactly.
It's as close as you'll get if you're not in that price bracket for a 50 grand sports car, so...
But is there still a waiting list on them or not?
Max, is there still a waiting list on Supras?
No, they've got like 4,000 stored up north.
They've got a surplus of stock now, so don't have a waiting list.
Come on, Aaron, let's go and buy some Supras.
I'm sorry, I'm still not a big fan of how it looks, to be honest. I'm sorry.
What?
No.
Bitch, please.
Side profile, great. Rear, yeah, pretty good. Front, oh my good God, what have they done?
No, to be fair,
though,
I'm disappointed that they didn't make it look like the concept. No,
it
looks like the FT1 though.
What I will say is
sensible proportions.
It does look better in real life compared to photos. I've seen one or two on the road. Actually, because where I used to live, my commute wasn't too far from the Toyota Lexus head office in
Banstead. Banstead,
Burheath. Yes, exactly. Burheath, that's it. I couldn't think of what it's called. So I did go through a phase where sometimes on my commute, I'd have the same red Supra go past me on the opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did look and think, you know what? In the metal, it actually looks a lot better than photos, but I still can't get past that front end. I'm sorry. The rest of the car looks great. It's just that front end.
I kind of agree with Aaron, but at the same time,
the side profile is pretty good. It's pretty mega, but it's just the front.
Yeah. I think that the front end on the concept, if they'd used that, I think it would have been the nuts.
The thing is, when you do look at a picture of an FT1 with the new Supra, it is essentially, they've gone, FT1 was very cool, but it's not really sensible for the street. Let's condense it to something more sensible. Yeah. Bang, Supra.
And then, because it's a Supra, everyone's modding them like mad and they just look sick.
Yeah.
They just look insane.
Oh, they look amazing.
Like at SEMA, they had like how many? They had like 20 odd Supras, all like different modded. That was like mental.
There was, who did the video on YouTube that counted every one? I think it was like TJ Hunt.
Yeah.
And I think he got to 64 and stopped counting.
It is
which
mental.
Was insane.
But
they all had different looks and different kits, and it was like, I rate this.
Yeah. But it's just the usual thing, like, because of the previous A50 Supra, everyone's just like, no.
There's always going to be that comparison, even though there's been, quite a few years between the two cars. It gets to a point where you can't actually really compare them that much because there's a generation gap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The A80 was so iconic
Yeah.
And, you know, people like Paul Walker made it what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what people forget is that car was only sold at Lexus showroom on Park Lane. It wasn't just a generic Toyota dealership thing. It was only Lexus Park Lane. And they could not shift them for love nor money. No one wanted them.
Yeah.
They were big, they were heavy, they were slow from factory. And it's only once those years had passed and people realised, oh, actually a 2J can be modded really well, but you have to chunk a whole mortgage like payment at it.
Yeah.
Then you can get your speed and all the rest of it. But because everyone was so fixated on the whole story of a 2J and the A80, people just completely wrote off an A90 straight away.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, that's not fair because, you know, this is new, got to keep with the times. You can't have a new 2J. The emissions on it were horrendous.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I say, from factory, that car was not quick. It was heavy, it was slow. And it's only once you had done a hell of a lot of work to it that it was like, holy hell.
Yeah, it's like, imagine if you took an A80 around the Nürburgring and then you took an A90 around the Nürburgring, which they did. And the guy that owns Toyota actually took one round on a 24-hour race and literally didn't have no faults whatsoever. I'm sure the A80 would be probably down T13 in a ditch somewhere because it would just be unreliable or whatever. But yeah, people forget that the A90 has actually been set up to be a full-blown track car. They're mad. But yeah, I think that is going to be about it for today. Aaron, have you got any other questions for our lovely guest?
Yeah, I have. You know, I've got a few. There's one question that sprung to mind because it's happened to me, albeit only once. But have you ever had anyone steal your photos, use your photos, and try to claim them as your own?
Yeah.
And how did you deal with it?
There was who was it? There was some sort of website, like a news site, and they had been through my Facebook and literally right-click saved about 20 pictures.
Yeah.
And had just chucked them all in a story. And I'm like, okay, they're watermarked ones and the quality is crap because they've come from Facebook. So I was like, thanks for using my pictures. Would have been nice if you contacted me before. And they kept deleting my comment. And I'm like, okay. Found their email address, contacted them and said, look, I'm not being funny. You've just taken how many of my pictures for one story, not asked for my permission, not paid for permission. And, you know, even if you'd asked, I'd have probably just said, yeah, take them, as long as you credit back to my Facebook page or whatever.
Yeah, it's common courtesy.
Yeah. But I said, unless you either credit them, pay them, or remove them, I'll be issuing you a cease and desist.
Yeah.
And the next thing, the whole thing came off. I was like, yeah, people don't like it when you mention solicitors and a cease and desist. So
usually does the trick. Usually.
But yeah, there's been a few big YouTubers and stuff who'd pinch my pictures and share them if they were talking about another YouTuber or something. And they would purposefully know they were my pictures. And I would be tagged like a million times underneath. And it'd be like, oh, Skulls and Snaps took this. No. Thanks for the pic at Skulls and Snaps. It was just completely blank.
Yeah.
So it was like, hi everyone, can you go report this as spam, please? So it gets removed, thanks. 9 times out of 10 it worked. It was great. But yeah, never really had any other issues. Like, thankfully, anytime my pictures have been in magazines or stuff, it's been credited. And, you know, even like the Veyron pictures I did for Oakley Design, they were showed on BBC Middle East, and even they credited at Skulls and Snaps. And I was like,
yeah,
that's cool. That's nice. Like, they're showing
that video of the Veyron doing a madness as well, isn't it, on your YouTube?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Veyron on Dino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question I have, I've got quite a few questions so I can think about. Obviously, trying to keep the video down. I think probably quite a good one to end on is, what tips would you give out to someone who's just getting into car photography or car spotting, or basically what you do? What would be your top tips for them?
Hold on, let me just get a pen and paper.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I've got paper.
Be yourself. 100% be yourself.
Well, they
Don't.
cut me out then. Right, see ya.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Like, I see so many people who hide it from family or hide it from friends because they don't want them to know what they do. And I'm
Yeah.
like, if you enjoy it, embrace it. Don't let anyone put you off.
That's
Talk
weird.
to
'Cause
people.
it's not exactly taboo, is it?
Well, no, this is the thing. But like, even some of my friends when I started out, they'd be in London every weekend. At this point, a few of them were still at school or college and whatever. And they'd get phone calls from their friends and they'd walk off. And it's like, everything all right? And they're like, yeah, just my mate called me. It's like, but you could have answered the phone here. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, not with an Aventador revving right next to it. I couldn't. They'd have called me a car loser again. And it's like,
Really?
who are your friends? Like, really?
They're
What?
the losers.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, they'd keep it quite hush hush, and it's just like, just embrace it, just be yourself, enjoy it. Talk to people. Don't be afraid to just get stuck in and talk to people. That's been one of the best things I've done. Like, I would just be stood at events talking away, and you'd suddenly get, oh, I'm like the head of design at so and so, or oh, I'm the head of PR at so and so. You're just like,
Oh, really?
oh,
Please, continue.
yeah. So it's like a flight got delayed at Geneva airport after the motor show, and this woman opposite me was like, oh, she was like looking around because she'd run out of water, and I said, do you want another bottle? I said, I got spare from the BMW stand, and I could see she had a little notepad of all her Geneva motor show notes, and she was like, oh, good old BMW. Like, yeah. She went, thanks very much. And she's like, oh, I've just got a deadline to meet because I've got to write this up for Evo. And I'm like, oh, really? And she ended up staying in touch via Twitter, and she was like some journo. So it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool. So yeah, just talking to people, you know, it's like, seems a bit scary to some, but just talking. Find out how your camera works. The best thing you can do. Play around with the settings, even if you're not practicing with cars, practice with family members, with pets, just trees and general nature, and try all different lighting situations. Practice. You cannot beat practicing. And yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think the age of social media nowadays, people are quick to shoot people down.
Oh, always. And I hate
My motto is just, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at the end of the day.
exactly.
Agreed.
You're not going to say it to me to my face. Why are you going to type it in on?
Oh, that's one of the best.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, the amount of times where Skulls and Savage would come out, I would defend myself online because I'm just like, come, you know where I am at a weekend? Come see me. Come tell it to my face.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't show up, shock.
Yeah.
You're just like, why hide behind your phone and say it? Just, you know where I'm stood right now. Come say it to me. No.
Like, we all see things on the internet that we don't like. Like,
Yeah.
Boris Johnson rugby tackles a kid while playing rugby. Yeah, it's a bad thing, but you're not going to go and sit there slating about it.
That is hilarious.
It is funny, yeah, but it's wrong. But you're not going to go, oh, I don't like that, sitting on your keyboard. You just, at the end of the day, what you say on that in that comment section is not going to do anything. So
no. And I think that's a big thing as well, is once you start posting online, don't pay attention to trolls.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people make, right, this is how bored these people get. They make videos putting your face on like a car crash and then going, I want to see Skulls and Snaps die.
Yeah,
and you just think,
wow, that's really brutal.
that's actually still online. I found it the other day.
Yeah, actually, because I remember when I watched that, you sent it to me.
Yeah, it's still online to this day.
That is.
Right, that was like 3-4 years ago, or even longer than that, wasn't it?
5.
It's mad.
It's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing how low some people will stoop. It really is. That's sad. That's surprising.
The amount of comments I've had, and they normally refer to weight, and I just think, do you know what? Throw all the weight comments you want at me, because at least you can't call me a fake car whore or a clueless, whatever.
Yeah.
Because if you have to insult my weight, it means I'm doing everything else right everywhere else. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good mentality to have, because if you let things like negative comments get to you, then it don't do you no good.
You just can't. You can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't avoid them. It doesn't matter how good or successful you are, and that's one thing I touch upon in my next vlog. Will be it doesn't matter how good you are, how big or successful, you will get haters. It's just how
Yep.
it is, sadly.
Always.
It's a big sad fact of being online.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. But yeah, I think that is it for today's episode. I would like to say a big thank you to Joe for joining us. Finally
Thank
got
Yeah.
you in there.
Nice to
It
have
would have
you.
it would have been nice to have you at Carchatters HQ in a nice red
Yeah.
seat in our new office,
Oh.
which you haven't seen because you haven't.
No,
been
I know.
there for a while,
I will come have a look once
yeah,
we're
no, definitely.
not grounded by Boris Johnson anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, and also I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that's been subscribing to me recently. Although I've not been doing an awful lot, well, I've been doing jack shit in reality, but it's been good for people to be still watching my Honda content mostly, which is not surprising.
People love
yeah,
Hondas.
yeah, Jack
Just
Ford
can't
Honda.
escape it.
No, you definitely can't. But yeah, I think that is it. It's been a really interesting episode. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you head over to Skulls and Snaps and give her a follow. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I can say. Again, big thanks for joining us, Joe. And of course, Aaron for being my fellow co-host.
Yes, thank you for watching, everybody. Stay
yeah.
safe.
And until next time, I'll see you
See you
soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.